If you trade oil or any major market, really, this is not a weekend to just, start drinking eggnog and relaxing to the holiday season, because there are a couple really key things going on for oil, and we need to look at the charts accordingly. So, number one, as per this headline, OPEC is about to meet, and they are looking to keep to their supply cut that would help raise prices. Of course, we got to see what happens at the meeting on Sunday. Now, this is also in the mix with the EU putting forward a Russian oil ban, where they're starting to get countries to participate, and they're going to hopefully finalize this over the weekend from their point of view. So these are very important factors for the oil market, and I want to look at the charts with you, starting from the monthly, going to the weekly, down to the daily. Now, before we do that, important reminder that trading and investing can be extremely risky business. Therefore, it's your responsibility to evaluate any information, opinion, advice, or other content I share in this video. If you're new here, I'm Hema Reddy. I use technical analysis, specifically price, time, and momentum, to boost my trading and that of my trading tribe. So here we have the chart of oil futures. Now, this is the continuous contract chart. So it's rolling from 1 month to the next. And this is the monthly time frame. Every one of these candlesticks representing 1 month of price action. And my favorite momentum indicator down below, the RSI power zones, again, based on the monthly data. So looking back at the month of November, which just finished this week, you can see that we had an outside range on the continuous chart. So that's a sign of volatility. And we are now kind of sitting in the middle of that outside range on the monthly chart. So let's go and see what this looks like on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we had an outside week, and that is a sign of increased volatility in this market. And this happens to be an outside week that has a bullish close, right? Higher than the open. This is also coinciding with the RSI power zones stabilizing in the bull support power zone, and also setting up a potential bullish pattern here. So I love looking at RSI power zones patterns in relationship to what zone they're occurring in, and I get deep into all that in my 4 zones RSI coverage system. But for right now, I can tell you that these have bullish indications. Okay, now let's go to a daily chart. And specifically, I want to look at the levels that I had been considering when I last did a deep dive update on oil with some members, and where we are since then. So when I prepared my Q4 long-term reports, I call them my outlook reports, and I do them once a quarter, I had forecasted, okay, that's the expectation of time meeting price. That's what a forecast is. I'm forecasting that November 4th would be a very important timing point. And look, just one day after, we had a significant high in oil. So we had been lower off of that level. We tested these lows from late September and are back up again. With where oil is standing now in the daily chart, I'm going to do a couple things to get ready for what may unfold in Monday's trading and after, pending these major events coming up on the weekend. All right, for starters, I'm going to remove any supports that have been violated or just annotate them as being violated. And I do that using a support dashed line. Instead of a solid line, I make it dashed. So I know, hey, it kind of did its thing, okay? It's not necessarily going to hold again. Then I'm going to come in and look at support that's developed on top of that. And what I see now is that we actually have more significant levels at 74.84 and 73.60. And this is based off of the formation of this November 28th low. Now, if I sort of zoom in, okay, and I look at the most recent move off of this high from early November, what I see here is that when we look at the moves lower off that high, and Gann talks about this as drives, or these like directional moves persisting in one direction, I can see that a number of drives have elapsed, and now we have retested the high of one of those drives. So this is the first hint that the trend might be changing back to up on oil futures. However, it's just a hint, okay? Show's not over unless and until we start to see oil form first a bar low, okay, so singular bar, or a potential price low. So that's a bar low, a lower bar low, and then a higher bar low that could then give us that fuel to trade up to these higher levels. 85.59, 89.51, and 93.15 over a series of weeks, guys, not in a matter of days or anything like that, okay? It would take some time. So to summarize, the oil market looks like it's in a position to continue to roll higher and get back into that $89 to $93 range over coming weeks. What needs to happen is that it needs to stabilize. It needs to form a low while it's in this 77.84 to 73.60 range. If that doesn't happen, then I think we're more likely to see oil actually fall lower again, continue, and make its way down towards key levels, including 66.77 back from January 24th. Again, depending on how these fundamental factors like the OPEC meeting, the EU ban on Russian oil, and more unfold. So you've got the levels now, and I'm going to leave you with one last thing, which is going to be an updated forecast. And here it is, guys. This is the updated forecast. It took me seconds to do it. That's how it is when you really have a grasp of my loss forecasting techniques. And that's something I'm actually reviewing for myself this month and sharing my review plan with my members, because you can never be too expert on the basics, even someone like me. But what unfolds is you develop this skill to be able to recognize the key highs and lows in the markets for the cycles that are developing, and then map, like X marks the spot, of where that market's likely to head next. So I'm letting you know here, okay, for you to monitor, to study, and to do your own analysis on, that there's likely to be a key move in oil on December 16th, and it's likely to happen up near this 85.59 area. It's like a magnet pulling on the price. The thing is, forecasts don't always pan out exactly. That's why I teach in my systems what to do when the forecast doesn't unfold to the T. So there you have it, guys. A full workup on oil based on these important events coming up this weekend. We honed in on what's going on in momentum, which you can dive in deep on 4Zone's RSI coverage system. Looked at forecasting, which my starting point there is loss forecasting trading system. And we'll see what unfolds. Catch you on the inside.